What is up, Stud Squad? It is I, Logan, and today we are going to be doing an overview of every LEGO Star Wars winter set. Now, essentially, this is going to be including every LEGO Star Wars Winter 2021 set, excluding Juniors and Polybags. Now, the ones obviously being excluded are both Poe's X-Wing and the Imperial Shuttle Polybag. And I basically want to do this by figure, then build, then price, and all the other little things like piece count and all that small stuff. But first, let's get into all of the figures. In total, we got 6 sets, which means we got 6 different sets of figures. And let's start off with ours from the Mandalorian. Now here we have, from the Trouble on Tatooine set, we have Din, Tuscan Raider, and Grogu. Now, obviously, first off, the Tuscan is nothing new. He appeared in a few previous sets last year. He's still cool nonetheless, obviously, a nice little head mold there. We also get a nice Grogu. This is the cheapest set to get Grogu in, and obviously this is going to be a huge draw for a lot of people solely for that reason if you don't want to get the buildable one or the Razor Crest. And finally, obviously, we have probably the figure of the entire, year, wave, whatever you may call it, but this is Din Djarin's Mandalorian figure, and it looks great, especially with the side arm printing. That's a given. I have a review up on this you could check out, but it's absolutely a gorgeous figure, like one of the best LEGO Star Wars figures, if not the best. Like, it's very high up there. Great figure. Let's move into the Luke's X-Wing figures. Now, here are Luke's X-Wing's, figures. First off, we get R2. Nothing super exciting. He's pretty iconic and classic. We also get this Luke, which did come in the AT-AT. I'm dropping everything. But he came in the AT-AT, and I believe he came in a few other sets, so nothing super exciting. Obviously, he has his double-sided printing. Again, nothing super exciting. The two exciting ones are these two. First off, Princess Leia, because her last appearance was only in a $200 set, so that's pretty darn expensive. Her little shuttle or whatever, her Tantive 4. So this is nice. You also get her with her double-sided head print, so that was nice. I think they probably could have done Celebration Leia, which would have been nice, but this works too. And the big one, obviously, is General Dodona. This is his first interpretation in LEGO Star Wars, and I think he looks absolutely stellar. Love General Dodona here, especially with the hairpiece, and, just nice to have an original figure. Also has a dual-sided headpiece. Next up, we have variations of the figures from the TIE Fighter. Now, basically, these guys are all just previous variations of other figures. They have minor things, like they have changed head prints, except for him. That's an old one, I guess I pulled out of my collection. But, like, this guy, he has a different head print. This guy has different, stomach wires, colors. But they're pretty much all, like, the Death Star droid. These have all appeared previously in Rogue One, Battle Packs, or, the Death Star. So nothing super exciting here. I'd say the most unique is him, so I guess he counts as most original. Next up, we have by far the worst figure selection in the Imperial Shuttle. If I was giving these number scale, this would be a 0. I mean, it could not have been worse. They didn't give Darth Vader his arm printing, his new arm printing. Like, that just feels like it should have been a given. We were excited when we found out Luke was going to have a green lightsaber. Like, that's how pathetic it was, because in the leaks he had a blue one. Obviously, this figure, pretty nice. Nothing extremely special. Pretty given. Nothing special at all here. Especially Luke. We just got him this summer. Nothing exciting here. No original real figures that are, like, wholly custom. Here you have the AT-AT Walker Pilot, as well as Luke in his snow gear from the AT-AT Microfighter and, Tauntaun. Obviously, I like Luke because of this nice head print. I just think that works really well, and that could be used for a lot of things, like if you want to get a bandaged-up character. Obviously, they all come with their accessories. Luke is a original figure, which is super nice. The AT-AT Walker Pilot, you get really anywhere. This is the main attraction here, and let's get into the final figure. Here we have Han Solo. Nothing super special. He is kind of a variation of figures that have come out in the past, but this appearance has shown up in the Mos Eisley Cantina set, so nothing original here either. But out of the January and March waves, these are all the full, original, pretty much as original as it gets figures. I like them a lot. I think they all were great. Just nothing particularly exciting other than Mando. No, super cool clones or super cool stormtroopers. Just all pretty boring stuff and pretty standard stuff. I mean, if he didn't come out, people would have raged. But I think it's time to get in the builds. I think if I had to choose a favorite figure, obviously it would be Mando, then probably Dodona, then Luke, then the droid. Okay, now I want to talk about these sets that are in the cheaper scale and design of, the older classic ships. First off, I want to talk about my favorite of the bunch out of all 3 of them. This is the TIE Fighter, easily the best design, and that's not saying much. I mean, it's certainly a nice build. I think this is the best out of all of them. Now, obviously, I really like the way they did this nice little small design. I think this was the one I was probably harshest on. I still don't like it that much, but I do like the way they just have this nice, it's compact for what it is, and for 40 bucks, I think, comparing this to other $40 sets like the AAT, I think this is totally worth it. And I also like, it's very playable. You could have a wing pop off. This is really just a fun build, and I completely could understand why a younger kid or something would like this set. Like, this is a totally, understandably cool type set, and I just think that's neat, and I could completely get behind someone enjoying this. Just not my personal favorite thing. Next up, we have the X-Wing build. Now, this one I am pretty darn critical on, and I think I have a right to do so. I mean, I will say, I do like how LEGO is trying to make these cheap and more effectively, for kids to buy. I think that's fine. $30 less than the old one, and you certainly feel it. It feels very cheap. You wiggle this thing around, it just feels like you're, bending it around. See that? It's just not, it doesn't feel the same. Now, the other thing is, this guy, he can't pop in, so you just have to be in this position forever. Look, that tile just came off. I was playing with it hard too. But, it's just okay. The wings, they don't really hold their position well. It's just an overall mess set. Even, in small things like R2-D2, he pops out, ridiculous. The cockpit looks oversized, just not a huge fan. Obviously, the back of it, that looks totally under-detailed for what it should be, and I think we really get spoiled with the last two X-Wings. And, small things, you feel like they should put spring-load shooters on each wing if this is going to be a full-on kid set. Why don't they do that? What's the deal? I know why they don't do it. And other small things like the Technic up here, with the stickers, the way they just covered that, I just not a huge fan of this set. It's certainly better than our next one, which I'll get into now, and I just shot it off. By far the worst set, the Imperial Shuttle. $70 for this piece of garbage. Don't buy it. That's going to be my first suggestion. I think, obviously, you already know how I feel about it, but based off of how I just said. But yeah, so the wings fold in nicely. Obviously, I think the wings are too thin, in my opinion. I have a review up already. I think the review for the Tauntaun will be going up soon, but that's besides the point. I don't like the way the cockpit flies out. Just none of it. The little Technic down here looks garbo. You shouldn't have to see the other side. I don't like that. I do like how they have the thing lift up. I think that's nice, but then again, the interior is sorely lacking, especially for a, shuttle transport ship. This should have a good interior for you to transport your characters. Overall, just super uber disappointing. I do like this little printed piece up here. That's fully printed, but other than that, cruddy job, LEGO. This was by far the worst set, and I have more thoughts on that in my review. Now, Encounter on Tatooine is a bit of a mixed bag for a lot of people. I think I enjoy it. It feels like 3 mini microfighters. Basically, that's what it feels like they're doing. This is a build, and then you get 3 figures, so it kind of almost feels that way. But yeah, so you're getting Mando's Speeder, which I think looks very nice. I like how they have a little pocket area for Grogu that he could fit right in. I think that, the pouch or whatever, I don't know what the piece is called particularly, but I think that works well. I like the little clip for the blaster. I think that all looks fine and dandy. I think I like the ballista. That's just, it's neat. You can take off the, spring-load shooter with ease. And, it's a neat build. It's certainly unique for Star Wars, and I think that's what I like about it, but it doesn't scream like Star Wars. It feels like something out of a different, era of the universe. I also like this little wheel thing, but that's besides the point. And finally, we also have the little hut, which I think is a neat build, and also, where Anakin murders the young, or Padawans, or the little Tuscans, the baby children Tuscans. Again, neat build, nothing's too special, it's very, very fragile. You just saw, it just popped off. But yeah, so this was certainly one of the more critically acclaimed builds, but, what it's up against, it's not that difficult to, choose that. Now, finally, we have the Microfighters. Now, these two were a little pack, and this was Han's. I believe there was probably one canceled. A lot of people think it was going to be the Slave one, but I don't know what happened to that. Now, obviously, I like the Falcon on a personal level because, my first ever LEGO Star Wars set was a Microfighter Falcon, so I'm always going to be pretty biased to it. But objectively, obviously, it's annoying that we're getting another one of these. They should have done a Microfighter Razor Crest or Darth Maul's Gauntlet Fighter or ATT, literally anything. They had Clone Wars, they had Mando to work with. They even still could have done some from the Rise of Skywalker. Just Falcon's way overdone. This is an Empire Strikes Back. Or actually, no. This is a Episode 4 appearance because of the box art. And then next up we have the little AT-AT and Tauntaun, which is pretty nice. I like the Tauntaun. It's adorable. Obviously, I prefer, the mold, say. But for a micro build along the Banthas and, all of those, that's pretty nice. The AT-AT is pretty nice as well. I like him a lot. You do a little handstand. And that's super fun. Now, let's get into all the specs. Okay, so I think we're gonna do, like, worst, best, greatest value, like, that type of a thing with this. So, you know, this is my first time really doing a serious wave overview, other than maybe this summer I did, like, a Clone Wars set overview. But yeah, so obviously the worst set by far is going to be the Imperial Shuttle. Based on reasons I discussed, the build I do not like. I think that the figure selection is, like, terrible, like, it could not be worse, which is why this set suffers so much, and I just don't like it at all. Obviously, I think that's fair enough of a reason to, you know, write this one off, save your money, do not spend it. There are so many much better sets. I'd rather you get, like, literally any other set here than this shuttle. I'm just trying to save you from that. Hope you can go watch my review since it tanked. Let's get into the, you know, best value. So, while I'm not a huge fan of the build, the best value for, I believe, $50 has to go to the X-Wing. I just think for $50, you're getting a great figure selection. This is a great startup if you don't have, like, many LEGO Star Wars sets. You get Princess Leia, you get R2, you get Luke. You also get a nice little General Dodona, who you could use as a Rebel fighter or whatever, anything if you don't really want a Rebel command, per se. And obviously, getting a Red 5 X-Wing is great. It shows up all over Star Wars. It was in Mandalorian, and it was in, you know, all the things. It was in Episode 4, it was in Episode 5. I believe it was even in Episode 6, yeah, Luke was flying it. So yeah, this guy pops up all over the place, and I think it works. If you already have an X-Wing, do not buy this. Maybe buy Dodona online, and if you don't have Leia, then you might as well just buy the set. That's going to be my general rule. But now I think we're going to do maybe, like, cutest set. I think that's a category we could do, or most adorable. Now, I bet you all were thinking that it's going to go to this set. Well, you were wrong. Although that Tauntaun is adorable. But it is going to the TIE Fighter. I wanted to give the TIE Fighter some sort of credit, and obviously this guy seriously lacks in figures. There's no one really special in it, but I just like the design. I think that's it. Like, I literally cannot say anything else. It's just a nice design. Like that's literally all I have to say about it. And then now, I think we're going to be doing best build, period. Giving that to this set again. I know that everything's standing in this guy's way to, you know, be the best set of the wave, but this isn't the best set of the wave. Now, you all saw this coming. It was Encounter on Tatooine, or Trouble on Tatooine, all along. Obviously, the big reason here is Beskar Mando. If it wasn't, this would be, like, the worst. But yes, I absolutely love this set, mainly because of Beskar Mando. Like, this I would pay for $30 alone, probably. Ooh, there's a little, mine is a little scratched up already. I've been using him quite a lot. But yeah, obviously, the arm printing on him is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I cannot say, like, you need this set. Like, if you had to choose any one of these sets to get, I get this. Like, if you have $30, this is the one to go for. If you have maybe $100, maybe go for this, the X-Wing, and, you know, save the rest. It's really up to you. Again, I just wanted to give you a full overview of this. But obviously, another nice inclusion would be to get Grogu. Grogu is certainly a nice appearance, and this is his cheapest one. And, you know, Tuscans aren't that difficult to come across, but, you know, it's always nice to get them. They're a cool figure. Now, if I was to give my personal opinion on this wave, I think it is a good starter wave for anyone who's being introduced or, you know, wants to get into LEGO Star Wars. You get a great selection of figures if you're new to it. I remember when I was getting into LEGO Star Wars, I had problems getting figures like, say, C-3PO. I know that was a big problem. I know he's not here particularly. But, you know, there's just so many figures, you know, you have to get. I know Lando was a big one I was missing, so maybe they could do another small wave like this if they're going to continue to do this with those characters. But, you know, you get your nice little standard Empire. You get, like, a good selection of pretty much everyone from the Empire. You get Leia, Han, and Luke, and you get, like, 3 different Lukes. This was a wave for Luke, which is certainly nice. You obviously are getting an R2. That's nothing new. You're getting Grogu and Mando. Those are obviously essential. You're also getting the Tuscan and Dodona, which are, you know, they're nice extra characters if you want to have some background people. And, you know, overall, I think I give this wave probably like a 6 out of 10. There's nothing extremely special about this wave that like makes it better than others. Like, I believe last summer's was fantastic. I believe last year's, winter wave, that one was alright. That wasn't terrible, but it was okay. I know I only got the Mando Battle Pack and, say, Obi-Wan's. But I think this one, for what it is, it's decent. I think it could have obviously been better, and that's not in question. But obviously, I would be more critical if this was the only wave, or if it only got worse from here. But since we're getting such a good wave this summer, I'm personally not going to be too upset. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the other things, and I will see you all in the next one. Remember to peace out and stay awesome. Also, subscribe and watch all the reviews for these. See you later. Peace.